Well, similar to what we did back in 1996 for then retiring Republican 3rd District Representative Steve Gunderson, we're sharing an exclusive look at the career of his successor, Democratic Representative Ron Kind, spending a few days with him in Washington and some time with longtime local colleagues who know what makes him tick. Shortly after then newly elected Congressman Ron Kind offered him a job as district director, Lauren Kannenberg still remembers the phone call with his father.
He was mayor of Wausau for 24 years. Oh, he's going to last 2 years. You can't just stay at St. Pat's. So that's what my father told me.
Instead, the former St. Patrick's School principal took the advice of another father figure.
So I went back and talked to Father Matzik. We had a long talk, and he said, take it.
He did, and served 24 years as Representative Kind's district director, a job Kannenberg still calls something of a leap of faith.
I didn't know what a congressional district office was when I took the job. It's a constituent service office. People would call in, social security problems or INS problems, whatever, and then we had staff who would help them through working with federal bureaucracies in order to get their problem solved.
I never lost a night of sleep with Ron serving in Congress, that I knew he would always do the right thing.
Jennifer Schilling, who worked in Mr. Kind's La Crosse office from shortly after he was first elected until she ran for state assembly in 2000, says doing the right thing wasn't always easy for the representative, but it was part of his nature.
Congress can change people. It never changed Ron. Just having that temperament of sometimes the electorate can be kind of fickle. I particularly remember the years of the Affordable Care Act.
That was a hard time. Just people were angry, and we usually have 20 to 30 people at listening sessions. And during the Affordable Care Act, there were 800, 900 people. So he always stayed afterwards, and people would line up to talk to him, and he stayed for everyone who was there.
For the congressman, taking that time to listen goes back to a simple idea: relating to constituents and colleagues alike.
I've always approached my job like I approach my family, and that's out of a degree of respect and civility. And if I came home and told Tawny that I have this great new idea on how decisions are going to be made in the family, it's going to be my way or no way at all, she'd bounce me out on my rear end. She wouldn't tolerate that for a second. And so why would members of Congress come to their job with that attitude, that it's their way or no way at all? This demands compromise, it demands cooperation, it demands a level of civility and good listening skills.
Skills that continue to draw praise, even from those with whom Representative Kind likely doesn't agree when it comes to political philosophy.
You need to stand for your principles, but at the same time, when you actually get into office, you need to do two things. One is you need to find that middle ground and try to make government work. And the second thing is you really have to work very hard at representing the people that elected you. He felt he represented every single constituent, whether they were Republican or Democrat, and he really welcomed people to his office and tried to work with them.
Former Republican State Senator Brian Rood worked with Representative Kind, having spent 20 years in government affairs at a local utility company. At one point, Rood says he considered running against the congressman.
There was a story in the Hill magazine one time about Kind versus Rood, ? Could it happen?
But ultimately, Rood says it came down to family, praising the Kinds for making it work.
I give Ron credit that he was able to maintain a good family relationship. That's one of the give and takes in elected office, is you really do have to sacrifice a lot for your family.
It first of all starts with an incredible spouse, and I've been blessed with Tawny and how strong she's been, and it's hard to maintain that balance. But I think we made the right choice by staying in western Wisconsin, raising our family there, and it's kept me much better connected. And I think it's important in democracy.
And as the congressman now takes his own leap of faith away from the work he's lived and breathed the last quarter century, his advice for his successor comes from his own experience.
I would like to see someone who is from the area, that's deeply rooted in our area, born and raised as I was, who was passionate about it, because they're going to be a representative who really does care. I would also encourage them to make sure they stay accessible. As mean and nasty as some comments can be directed your way, that's part of the job.
In this political climate, it's an outlook those who know him say truly makes him one of a kind. And as for what's next for Representative Kine, he tells me his wife, Tawny, likely has a nice to-do list around their town of Campbell home, but he says he plans to, quote, stay here and be involved. Stay tuned for that. And to find this story or any of our exclusive coverage of the congressman, go to wxow.com/Ron Kine, where you'll find photos, archival footage, and an interactive timeline spanning the longest-serving 3rd District representative's career.